Welcome back, everyone. It's Anita with Frame of Mind. Make sure you subscribe to all the latest videos. So every year, millions of immigrants come to the United States from all over the world. Some come for education, some for new jobs, family reasons, or just to have a better life. The American Community Survey data back in 2018 showed that 1 in 7 US residents are foreign-born. Indians represent the second largest immigrant share in the United States. So facts and stats are one thing, but personally, I think that nothing can beat hearing a personal story about this journey. This week, I talked to my friend Shraddha Singh. Shraddha was born and raised in India and lived her whole life there until about a year after she got married. Her husband got a transfer to the US. Having never even visited the States before, they packed up their life and moved to the suburbs of Philadelphia. Moving to a brand new country can be exciting, but the transition isn't always smooth for everyone. Shraddha shared her feelings and struggles on adjusting to her new life and navigating a new culture. She also shared with me how her experience led her to start her own jewelry line, October Hues. So make sure you keep watching to see what we talked about. Thank you so much, Shraddha, for taking time to talk to me. I'm really happy that we get to chat today.
Yeah, actually, thanks to you. I mean, it's a great opportunity and a great platform for me as well. And I got a chance to share my story. I think nothing could be better than that. So thanks a lot.
Oh, no problem. So tell me, so you were telling me before you've lived in the States for about 4 years now, right? You moved in 2016, I think.
Yeah, 2016. It will be 4 years this October.
Wow. So why, tell me about why you moved to the States and what was that whole process like?
As I just said, we moved in October of 2016. My husband got transferred. We got married in 2015 December. So we had just moved to a new city and we were settling down. And 8 months down the lane, and I had just got like a new job because of all the move, and we got this news that we might have to move, as you know, because of this new profile he was getting. So yeah, it was nice, it was exciting, and though it sort of we had just settled down and rather settling down, and in the same time we had to again uproot ourselves.
You had no plans of moving to the States. You're saying that his job transferred him. So you weren't seeking out trying to move from India.
Not at all, not at all. It was like not even on our minds. We were just living our life. In fact, we were, as I just said, we were, exploring the new city. So it came out of the blue moon on a weekend rather, and we got this news. Okay. And like, really, are we going to do this? Because that's a big thing, that's a big move. But I think we both decided that if we want to take this opportunity, so this is the best time, because we did not really have any responsibility at that time. It's not like you have to think about kids, or your parents are so old that you have to worry about them at that moment.
Right.
So, and the whole family was quite supportive that if that's what you want, it's up to you guys. So
where in India exactly were you living? You said you moved to a new city.
yeah, so we were in Pune in Maharashtra.
Okay.
So yeah, we were there for 10 months, I guess.
What is that process like? Like, since you guys were transferred through a job, was the visa process really easy?
The visa process is easy, but it's something like you don't know if you're going to get through or not. It's like that. So you basically apply for your visa, and there's a 50-50% chance you might get the visa or you might not. And in this situation, my husband was coming on H1B and I was a dependent. So I was coming on H4, which did not allow me to have a job in America. So I think that was the one main thing which we got to know about why we were applying. But we were kind of in a better position because the company was doing all the processes. So we did not have to go through it. But we did, attend the interviews, and there was fingerprints and all those things. And then you have to like wait and see if you'll be accepted or not. So all that was a bit dicey because, it's like, you don't know if you're going. You might start packing, you might start planning, but it might not go through.
Yeah, I can't imagine you know, if you get really excited for this new move, because, you know, when you generally move anywhere domestically, like within your country, you don't necessarily have to wait. Like you can just make this decision and go. But when you're moving to a new country, especially the US, going through all the visa process, the application, and wanting to go, but not necessarily knowing if you're going to get it is probably stress, because then your life's going to change completely if you don't get it, and it will change if you do get it.
Exactly. And it was like exciting. At the same time, there were so many ifs and buts. And Apur, my husband, had been to America once, like for some work related thing. But for me, it was completely new.
So had you even visited the States like as a
No. This was the first time I was going to visit. And I didn't have anyone very close who were in States. Like few of my relatives moved here, but that was in 2016 itself.
Okay.
It was not like someone was living here for a long time and I knew about the stories or the way of life. It was really new for me.
So tell me, what are some of the biggest social and cultural differences that you have observed and noticed since moving to the States?
So one of the biggest thing which I experienced here was that it's okay to talk to a stranger, like, you know, even casually smiling or saying hi, asking about their weekend plans. It's totally acceptable. While growing up in India, the first thing my mother would warn me is like, do not talk to strangers. You're not supposed to do that. So the first time when I think we were at a grocery checkout counter, and the person there is just asking me casually that, so what are your weekend plans? And I was like, okay, why is he asking me that?
Yeah.
Is it okay for me to share such a personal detail with him? So yeah, but then eventually we realized that it's okay. That's how people talk, you know. It's like, hey, how you doing? It's a normal thing.
Yeah, it's kind of like, it's like a small talk. And I think there's a lot of that, hey, how are you? How are you doing? How was your weekend? And it's like a lot of kind of chit chat, small talk that people do. Whereas in India, I don't think, unless you have a purpose to talk to the person, everyone's hustle bustle busy.
You don't talk unless you have to.
Yeah, exactly. You're not talking unless you have to.
Yeah, we don't even say hi. I don't remember saying hi at the checkout counter. It's okay. We are just doing our thing and they're doing their thing. It's like that. It's normal. Also, like I like that how there's a freedom to express so many things, not just your thoughts, but freedom to wear what you want to. The body shaming thing is comparatively really less here, because in India, of course, in cities it's different. Like, you know, big cities rather, that people wear all kind of clothes and everything. But normally you don't. You cannot just wear anything and go out of the house. I like how it's, you know, people are casual. They just wear what they want to. They look for their own comfort, whatever they are comfortable in. So I think that's awesome, you know, to have that kind of freedom. Even apart from that, I see that that, you know, even kids, it's okay for them to form their own opinion. Like a simple example, I remember we were dining at a restaurant, and the mother very nicely asking her son to, you know, what do you want to eat? And he was like reading the menu and ordering what he would like to eat. So that's not happens. Like if you go out with your family in India, it's like you you order together. Maybe one person in the family will order for everyone. You're supposed to eat that.
Yeah.
So these small things are really different, where it's okay for you to have an opinion, where it's okay for you to, you know, express it. And not only like for kids to their parents, but maybe also in office workspace, it's a little different, you know. I don't think we are that explicit or upfront in expressing our views, and we depend so much on gestures. And even if you want to say no, I don't think it can ever be a straight no.
Yeah, that is something that I feel like I got the other end of the stick when I was in India, because like, you know, or not just me, just like kind of like the NRIs, like the Indians that grew up in the West that would come to India. We were just so American, because we were just like, no, I don't want that. I don't want to do something. And they're like, what? Because their culture, Indian culture, isn't used to just hearing, I think, as you say, like younger people aren't as opinionated, or it's not that they don't have opinions, they're just,
Yeah.
they're not so upfront with their opinions.
Upfront, it's like a lot of things like respect for the elders and all those things which we have in our mind. So yeah, it's not like you can't be upfront about it. Of course you can talk about maybe in a different kind of setting where things are, when it maybe you're alone with your parents or someone, but not like in a public place or with
Yeah.
other people. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think that's, I think, you know, finding like a balance between that of like, of course, maintaining respect and decorum in public, but also being able to have your own opinion and stand up for yourself.
Yeah. Adding on to this, like when once you graduate from high school, you're on your own. Like you can make your own living. You can decide. Most of the kids here take loans for their, college education. In India, it's normal for parents to sponsor your college education, your marriage, everything. Even if you're 50 years old and your parents are there, you talk to them in the sense that you value their advice, you take their consent if you're making any big decisions.
Yeah, the joint family is not something that I don't think it really exists everywhere in the West, but I have known a lot of immigrant families. It is very important. Like your grandparents sometimes live with you, your aunts and uncles, they're also just as big of a part of your life as your parents.
Right, exactly.
So everybody's opinion weighs in. It's not like here where, you know, I mean, I was lucky because I grew up with my grandparents around, but some people only see their grandparents and aunts and uncles maybe 2-3 times a year at Christmas. And it's like, they don't have any weight on their decisions of life.
Right.
Like they're just these other relatives, you know. But in India, there is this like joint family where, you know, all of your family members have an opinion. They're all involved in your life. They all take care of you, and you can't necessarily do anything without involving everyone. And
Right. In fact, if they don't have an opinion, it's like something is wrong. It's taken as a negative thing, or very something is like really wrong with the family, or you're not in good terms. So that should be. It's a thing. It's a thing which is acceptable, and they're entitled. Your extended family, your aunts, uncles, cousins, everyone has an opinion. I think that we're just used to it.
they're like, to me personally, what I liked about growing up with close family is that my cousins and my aunts and uncles, they didn't feel like just cousins or aunts and uncles. Like they felt like they're sisters. Like you really have that bond. And that is something that I know from a lot of my friends that grew up in the West, that's not necessarily how they view, you know, their family. And so that it is nice having that closer bond with family members.
So that's what, if in India, if you call someone a cousin, it's sort of like an insult, that you are saying that they are not close to you. So
Yeah.
we never call cousins. We're like, oh, he's my brother, my sister. That's how we talk. So,
If you had to say, like, if you had from the, not even just from the list that you just mentioned, but like, what would be one thing that you, like, you kind of prefer the American culture or the American way? And what's one thing that you prefer the Indian way that you've noticed in living in both countries?
okay. So as I said, the American way, I would say I like how there's a freedom of, expressing your opinion. I think there's nothing wrong in it. Even if it's a child, and as we discussed, of course you need to maintain the decorum. Everything is there. It's not like talking back. I'm not talking about that, but to have your own opinion, expressing it, even saying no, I think that's the most important thing. It's okay to say no. There's nothing wrong in it. To know that and to be able to express that, and use it, it's very important. So I think I really like that, how there's a freedom in so many ways, where you can be yourself, you can express your opinion, you can wear what you want to. I really like that thing about America. And at the same time, if I say what I like the most about India, would be the family bonds, which
Yeah.
we spoke about, that everyone is so close to each other. uh, I'm sure it's the same here, I'm not denying that, but still that sense of belongingness, that your cousin is your sister or your brother, and that's how you that's kind of relationship you share with each other. And it matters to you what's going on in your uh, siblings or your cousin's life. It matters to them also what's happening in your life. I think that's pretty special.
I'm so curious, like, you know, there's all this excitement and you're really lucky and fortunate to have gotten a visa and to move. But as you mentioned, you're also not allowed to work. So this independence that you had when you were living your life in India, of having a job, just going out, having your own social life, that's all taken away from you, and you're in a new city. So emotionally, how did that feel, sort of going from being so independent and have worked your whole life to all of a sudden being, I have to stay home and I can't get a job?
Yeah, right. So I think, as I said, initially it was like, okay, we'll figure something out, and we just moved in, we were exploring, we were traveling, it was all good. Slowly, when that high wore off, and you are like back to reality. Okay, this is our life, and which I still think sometimes that you're somewhere in between. Like, you don't really have roots here, but this is your country now. You're living here. And then there's small instances, like, for example, there's a concept of American English, which I had never experienced before. I have been to UK. I lived there for a year when I was doing my post graduation. But British English is quite similar to the English which we are used to in India. So like parcel and package, like it's called packages here, but we're used to saying parcel. Or so these like small things like, or lift, elevator, or just. So what happened initially was that when these instances kept happening, there came a time where I started to doubt myself that maybe something is wrong with me, maybe I'm not able to communicate that well. And in India, we rely so much on hand gestures and non-verbal communication. Plus, there's so many different languages that in one or the other, you can communicate, you can say what you're trying to tell the other person. So I think that was like really a low point when I was like, maybe something is wrong with me. Maybe I'm not enough, or um, maybe I cannot survive. Maybe I cannot make friends. People don't understand me. People don't get me, and it's not their fault. It's just the difference in the culture and the language. So also another thing was that the community is such, it's a close community. So people are living here for generations. They all know each other. And I always felt like an outsider, that it's, they don't know me. I don't know them. I'm just living in this place. And it's like to feel that, okay, you're really here. To be here, you might, I was not, at that time, I was not able to see a future where I could be happy in this place. There were times, there were days I was just not happy at all. And I remember like my husband coming back home, and I'll be like, you know what, you're my only human contact. And it gets on me because I'm not used to it. I don't know what we are doing. And he would be like, do you want to go back? We can do that, whatever you want. But I also wanted to give it a chance. I was like, no, I don't want to give up. Let's see, let's try. Maybe I'll get something. Maybe I will find a way. Maybe something will happen. So yeah.
The thing is like, this country is full of people that are from, whether it's India or other Asian countries, or Europe, or from Mexico, just from all over the world. And so everybody has their own experience. Everyone speaks languages, they have different accents. And that is something that makes the US great, is that we can be sort of a true melting pot of different cultures and different people. So I think there is probably a period of adjustment, but it's like, you are who you are, you come from your culture, and you shouldn't have to completely change that just because you're in a new place. It's just about adapting and feeling comfortable. Just kind of finding that balance between the two.
Exactly. Yeah. I think
you were saying that you felt, kind of a little bit, just like you weren't able to, do as much as you were back home. Now you have a jewelry line and you're making jewelry. How did you get from where you were to now deciding to maybe start your own business?
So, as I said, that there was this time, and that is when I was exploring a lot of things. Though I was lonely, but it also gave me an opportunity to explore other things. So I was doing a lot of things, like from experimenting in cooking to sketching, also trying my hands on gardening. So that was a process.
Yeah.
And I think just out there, trying to find my groove, that what fits me. And in one of these processes, when I, and also we moved two houses, so I was doing all kind of DIYs, all the DIY projects and crafts. So in one of those shopping for my DIY project, I in Michael's rather, I was crossing jewelry aisle, and I'm like, okay, this is so interesting. I never realized that I can make my own jewelry. That
Mhm.
would be so awesome if I can, design my own pieces. I can wear something which I have designed, and I just picked up some random stuff. That okay, let me just pick stuff, and I'll figure it out later. Then coming back, I started, I YouTube, I saw some videos, some tutorials, I tried my hand on it. And I was like, okay, this is really exciting. And then that's how I ended up enrolling myself to, some jewelry classes.
Oh,
So
awesome.
I took few classes here in Philadelphia, and then I started sharing it with my friends and my family. I got like really positive feedback, and they were like, "Why don't you sell it? They're so pretty. They're so pretty." Things like that, and I was like, "Okay, but can I? Because I'm not allowed to have a job. Is it possible for me to sell these?" And so we spoke to few people. We spoke to a CPN, all these things, all those formalities and stuff, and things fell into place. And it so happened that yeah, I can have something of my own, and I can sell my jewelry. So 6 months later, I opened up my own jewelry line, and it's called October Hues Studio. So
Wow. Are you
thank-
wearing one of your pieces, your
yeah,
earring?
yeah, I am actually.
That's so pretty. It's so bright and fun.
Yeah, thank you. So, in fact, there's a story behind the name too. So, when we were like going through the whole process of registering the company name and everything, um, they asked for us, what are your options? Do you have something in mind? And started talking about it, that okay, what can we do? What would be good name? So October came up because I'm an October born, and so is my husband. You're like, okay, that's a good, something which represents us.
Yes, your birth month.
Yeah, and then you're like, what do I want in my jewelry? So I want it to be colorful. I wanted it to be bright, like maybe bringing little India with me here, and bright and colorful. So I was like, okay, so colors. Okay, what's with colors in October? I'm like, okay, it's fall colors.
Yeah.
That's what October is all about. So that's how we came up with October hues, and yeah, I think how it all
Yeah.
came.
Because it means something to you. And I love how your pieces, like whatever I've seen and what you're wearing now, does bring that element of the bright colors, the Indian culture.
Right.
Whenever you see saris or Indian clothes, they're so bright and there's
Right.
like all these amazing combinations. So it's awesome that you're also bringing that element of your culture into your
Yeah.
jewelry.
Yeah. So I'm trying to like, my birth country and the adopted country, trying to bring them together.
Yeah, that's perfect. That's amazing. And so what kind of pieces do you make? Is it just earrings or do you make other
So
jewelry?
right now I'm making earrings and bracelets, and the medium I'm working with, it's natural stone beads and clay. So I like to use both. Beads are perfect because I knew that beads are, their energy, their sources, and they have their own energy, and they impact and affect you. So while researching more about it, that where can get a real natural stone beads, I happened to know about this small town in India which exports beads all over the world,
Wow.
and they are famous. It's a small town in Gujarat, and it's famous for that. And while visiting there and getting to know more about stones, I got to know that at how many levels these stones affect us, on not only physically but emotionally, mentally, even spiritually. So I think that's how I was really interested, that okay, if something is so handy which we can wear, and if it can bring a positive changes or impact in our life, then why not? So one thing which I use is clay. It is because it's very versatile. I
Mhm.
can just make anything out of it, any color, any shape. I can paint it. I can make different textures. So both the medium give me the opportunity and the creativity to make something totally different from them.
So,
So
where, if people are interested in buying your jewelry, where would they go to see what you have and to order some pieces?
I have an Etsy shop, so that's I think the most convenient place to buy. Apart from that, I have an Instagram page and a Facebook page. You could also email me directly. I take custom orders and bulk orders. So yeah, I think
That's
that's the best way to reach out.
Yeah, and I'll make sure that I put the information below so if anyone wants to order anything. Do you have any
Sure.
pieces?
Yeah, definitely. So I just released one new line in polymer clay. I made this Madhubani style, earrings, if you can see.
Wow. So wait, so did you make the piece all from clay yourself?
Yes, yes. So everything from conceiving the design to procuring the material, making it, hand painting it. This was hand painted. To
Wow.
taking the photographs, everything happens at home by me. So yeah, this is
That's
the
so
fair.
amazing. I can't believe I mean, that's such like true craftsmanship and artistic skills
I
right
have a different color in the same one. So this
Oh,
is
I
blue
like that one.
color.
That's so pretty. That would match with my top. It's
Yeah,
like
I
yellow and
know.
blue.
Yeah. So if you can see this design, the even the painting, it's inspired from Madhubani art from India. It's basically in the Mithila region of India. It's done by mostly ladies, and they use natural dyes and pigments, and it's famous for its geometrical pattern.
So
So
is
I
that, do they make jewelry or is it like clothing from that region? That's
clothing, paintings on the walls. So there are like different ways they use it. Mostly fabric or paintings at home, or office. You can hang them. But jewelry was not something which I had seen, especially not on the clay. So I
yeah,
thought it would be a good idea to bring it on clay.
that's so amazing. I mean, I'm so impressed by how like just like the fine detail with the
Yeah.
all of the hand cutting, the painting. They're so amazing. And I think it's so nice when you buy jewelry or pieces that you want to wear that someone put their craftsmanship into because it has more meaning, and I like getting authentic pieces versus just going to a department store and buying stuff that's like there's probably
Right.
hundreds of people that have the same thing,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
like this is just a little bit more authentic, especially when it has like a cultural history to it too.
Exactly. And every product, every piece is unique because it's like not like I can repeat the same thing again. Even if I want to, I cannot.
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, everything is unique and everything is individually handcrafted. So yeah, I think even I prefer that. I like to own things which are unique. So this really helps.
Of
And also
course.
the bracelets, like the one I'm wearing. These are the stone bracelets I was talking about. So this is like rose quartz.
Mhm.
So I'm making a lot of bracelets with these natural stones and also some earrings like I'll show you here. Like I tried to make this simple ones here.
Oh, nice. Yeah. Those are really pretty. So are these the stones that you were saying you get
Yeah,
from India?
right. Yeah. So these are
Wow.
the stones. In fact, yeah, I have like stones like this.
Oh my goodness.
So, if you can see,
Yeah.
this is selenite, and it's like it really helps to activate the chakras. People who meditate a lot, especially your third eye and crown chakra, it helps you to activate it, and during meditation and all. If someone wears it, it really helps. Same with this, like I have amethyst, and this helps in positivity and managing the stress in life. So all
Especially
these
with
small
right now, managing the stress in life.
true. Yeah, and one thing I would like to add here is that this thing, opening the October Hues, not only helped me to satisfy my creativity and to do something useful, it also gave me that opening in the community. So last year we went to few craft shows and we had our own stall there, and that is when I actually got an opportunity to communicate with the people in our community, and they would come, we would talk, we would share. And so this not only helped me to have something to do worthwhile with my time, but it made me it made me feel that yeah, I belong here. I also am a part of this community, the society now. So that really helped.
Yeah, that's so fantastic that, after feeling sort of down for a while and not knowing what to do with your time, you were able to find something that, as you said, it satisfies your creative need, and you get to
Right,
make beautiful products using
right.
pieces from back home that are inspired from your culture. And it is such a great way to take that culture into the community and connect with people. And I'm sure you probably, gotten great feedback from people that you've met at these craft shows,
Yeah,
just
I did,
and,
yeah.
and like a connection with them and being able to bring a little part of you and your culture to them.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, people have been so warm, so nice, and I think that's when I truly experienced what people talk about America, right? That it's so accepting. So this helped me get there.
That's really amazing, and I think that it's really inspiring, to hear from someone like you who moving to the States was never necessarily a part of your plan, but it
Not
happened.
at all.
Yeah, it had happened, but you also made the most of a situation. You were like, okay, I don't want to feel like this anymore. What can I do? And just whether you were trying, as you said, you were trying your hand at different things to see kind of what you enjoyed and what stuck, and you found something, and now you're able to make, have an Etsy store and sell your jewelry online and have a little business. And it's amazing. And I think that, there's so many other people that are probably in the same position as you are, where because of whatever status of them coming from a different country, they have limited things that they're allowed to do. And I think finding a creative way to satisfy yourself and even maybe, to make a little money on the side is just something that's so great that you were able to find for yourself.
I've been lucky to find it really.
Do you have any advice for anyone that's maybe been in the same situation as you, who has moved from another country to the States? Like what would you want to tell them?
Well, of course, it's a big decision, and I think especially spouses or other dependents who are coming, they should really know what options they have here. It's really important to weigh in, and apart from that, even if you're here, I can understand you must be going through so many emotions, and just know that you're not alone in this. Most of the people go through. So talk to people around you, talk to your, even if you're talking to family and friends back home, just don't think that it's you alone. Talk about it and be patient. It might take some time, but I think America is very accepting. Sooner or later you get there, you will find your groove, you'll feel like a part of this country.
Thank you so much for sharing your story of moving here and just your experience, and the observations you've made of the cultures and all those things are definitely they're definitely things that I think other people that have moved to this country from anywhere could relate to. So thank you for sharing that, and thank you for sharing your beautiful jewelry line.
Thank you so much.
I hope you guys enjoyed what Shraddha had to say. If you're interested in her jewelry line, October Hues, I've linked the information below. Make sure you like and subscribe. Bye-bye.